Another important aspect of the Ethiopian-Somalian conflict is what's the nature of Ethiopia itself? What kind of government did we decide to both support? We decided to support militarily and also diplomatically in regards to its blatant and egregious violation of international law in regards to its invasion of Somalia. Well, let's talk about that for a little bit. This is a government that's had to deal with several secessionist movements throughout its history, and is currently dealing with them as well. And according to Human Rights Watch, and it's serious violations against people in the regions that are, trying to secede or trying to get further rights for their own individual clan or what have you, organizational structure. I'm not really sure the proper way, but a lot of it's separatist. A lot of it is geographical in nature. We want to, like in the Ogden region, they want to get back. A lot of the people that are Somalia, they want to be part of Somalia again. But these human rights that the troops usually, commit, according to Human Rights Watch, it's rape, mass arrest, economic sanctions, torture, village burnings, extrajudicial killings, the whole kit and caboodle. I mean, if you can name another human rights violation, I'd like to hear it, because that's a lot of them. In fact, in June of 2007, Ethiopia kicked out the Red Cross and restricted access to other humanitarian agencies, although they did let up a little bit towards the end of 2007. It incarcerates lots of people for lots of different reasons. One of the reasons is electoral differences. There was an election in 2005 in Ethiopia that was hotly contested, because you have to understand, Meles Zenawi, the current prime minister of Ethiopia, has either been president or prime minister of the country since 1991, and that's 17 years almost. And that doesn't necessarily mean that he's gone to illegal means to do it, although Salim Lone, the former worker for the UN and current journalist in Nairobi, he says it's a stolen election blatantly. But the government's own reports declared that it had killed 193 people, most of them by execution from bullets, rounded up 20,000 people and arrested them. A lot of them did get released later, but I mean, to arrest 20,000 people over, electoral differences, I mean, and there were borderline riots certainly, but I don't think around up 20,000 people and arrest them is the answer to that. And in regards to the election itself in 2005, and keep in mind this only predates the invasion by about a year and a half. The European Union said it wasn't a fair election. They didn't think that it had met the requirements of being free. The Carter Center said that it did, but there were lots of irregularities, and that's all I could get out of the Carter Center decision about it. I don't know. I wonder what the threshold for irregularity is before an election goes from free with irregularities to, boy, this is not, this is the worst election of all time or what have you. Be interesting to note. Ethiopia, like I said, the permanent, when it invaded Somalia, also engaged in human rights violations, and like I said in the other segments about the Somalian conflict, it would often shell entire neighborhoods and then go occupy it. Supposedly this would keep to corral the insurgency, but it didn't do anything but really hasten the growth of already present anti-Ethiopian feelings. Ethiopia, incidentally, is the, like I said, it's the largest recipient of aid in sub-Saharan Africa of the United States, and the European Union and China also, like to dirty their hands and give Ethiopia a substantial amount of military and economic aid as well. Now, the reason we support Ethiopia is, because Meles Zenawi puts himself forth as a bastion of stability at the Horn, in the very strategic region of the Horn of Africa, because the Strait of Hormuz is right there, and all oil tankers from the Red Sea have to pass through the tip of Somalia, really close to Ethiopia, and across that is Yemen. And he paints a picture of himself as a very stable leader in a region of a lot of Islamist instability. And so we support him. In fact, 200 FBI and CIA agents stay at the Marriott in the capital of Ethiopia, and question Ethiopian people. All of a sudden, I can't come up with the word for like captives. I'm trying to look for it. People that they've incarcerated. Prisoners, would that be the word? They talk to Ethiopian prisoners interrogate them. Well, incidentally, according to Human Rights Watch, Ethiopia is notorious for torturing people within its prison system, which has to lead us to believe that those 200 agents have, seen some things that, probably very, very, abhorrent. Of course, we're still supporting Ethiopia in regards to its attack on and subsequent invasion of Somalia. I got into it a little bit. Human Rights Watch said that Ethiopia appeared to attack civilians on purpose when it invaded, especially hospitals. It really wanted them, it really wanted at those medical supplies for whatever reason. They probably get a lot of money on the black market or what have you. And even before the invasion, even years before this, those same warlords that I talked about that the CIA supported, Ethiopia, incidentally, could not support them enough either. Gave them weapons in violation of the same U.S. or in the UN arms embargo. Essentially, what I'm saying here is that to support Ethiopia is to support a potentially unelected government, undemocratic tyranny in its blatant, illegal invasion of another country that has led to the exacerbation of what were already the worst humanitarian conditions in the last 50 years, according to the UN. I think that our tax dollars can go to a lot better use than supporting, what is essentially international thuggery, and they can go to better use than continuing to prop up a regime that utilizes rape and mass arrests and extrajudicial killings against its own people. Again, I must implore you, if we want this to change, it is up to you. Take to the streets, take to the phones, do what you must and do what you can to ensure that you have done your part to stop United States aid to Ethiopia. Thank you very much.